Okay, let's talk about Canadian diplomacy. We're going to get the Augsburg Agreement in August of 1940. Remember, this is that mutual defense agreement between the United States and Canada, really meant as a way of protecting Canada from Axis aggression. This is going to be important, though, because it's going to lead to the creation of Permanent Joint Board of Defense, which is a military and civilian board to agree to defense strategies for both the United States and Canada. The goal right here is Canada really only shares a border with one country, therefore they might as well be working together. They're going to be friendly countries, and this is ultimately what's going to happen as a result of the Augsburg Agreement. Canada's going to feel isolated, though, in the Americas because they're a Commonwealth country. So when they're at war, they're going to be fighting with the British, okay, obviously, because they're a Commonwealth. They're going to be the first country in order to join World War, and they're going to be the only one at war in the Americas. And also, they're going to be the only country in the Americas not a part of the Pan-American Union. So they kind of feel like this odd, 20-somethingth wheel instead of the third wheel, because there's a lot of countries a part of this. Canada's just kind of hanging out, and they don't really feel like they're truly a part of the Americas, so to speak, because, again, they're a Commonwealth country, the only Commonwealth country in the Americas, and number two, they're not a part of the Pan-American Union. Canada is going to ultimately be afraid of how others are going to respond to this agreement. However, it's not actually going to be an issue simply because the United States was in firm support of the United Kingdom. Okay, so when Canada decides to go to war and to work with the British, they're kind of afraid of how the rest of the Americas are going to respond because there's so much neutrality that was really permeating throughout the entire North and South American region. Canada's got to kind of break that and say, hey, we're going to go fight against the Germans. We're going to join this war effort. However, it's not going to be an issue because although the United States and the rest of the Americas were officially neutral, they all virtually 100% support the effort of the British, okay? The United States is not wanting Canada to join the Pan-American Union because this is going to be a violation of the Monroe Doctrine. Again, no European influence in the Americas. Canada being a Commonwealth country, going to be listening to Great Britain. Therefore, it's kind of that back channel way for the British to get into the Americas. So they're not going to want them to be a part of this. Ultimately, Canada's never going to join the Pan-American Union because they never get in. Most Americans, though, are happy to work with Canada. There's not a lot of resentment in the United States against Canada. They're like, hey, Canada, cool. Let's work together. We're pretty much the same in a little bit of mostly similar ways. Canada, though, is often going to work through the British when it comes to diplomacy up until really the end of World War II. There's going to be no Latin American consulate for Canada until war started in 1939. This is done for a number of reasons. Number one, it was pragmatic because there was not a lot of money in the world pre-World War II due to the Great Depression. Canada simply could not afford to have these consulates. Why create something when you can work through the British and do the same exact thing? Also, the first Canadian diplomats were French. So English-speaking Canadians showed little interest in doing this as well because why would I join this when I'm not speaking the same language? So there's going to be a massive disconnect between the French-speaking Canadians and the English-speaking Canadians. There's really a divide that even exists up until today. But understand this is going to be causing some of those tensions as well at this time. Diplomatic power for Canada is ultimately going to come as the middleman. They're going to work between the United States and the British in order to be kind of the one leading the negotiations and making sure stuff's going to happen. They're good friends with both the United States and the United Kingdom. Therefore, Canada is going to be put in a pretty good position post-war. World War II is going to be shown as a changing moment of Canada, okay? At this point, Canada is going to kind of shift their primary allegiance from the United Kingdom to the United States. Canada is still going to work with the United Kingdom. However, they're going to start being much more friendly with the United States, kind of working with the United States more than they're working with the British because it's simply easier to work with your next door neighbor versus a country that's all the way across the ocean. Comments, questions, put it below. Otherwise, I'll see you later. Good luck.